through this.
What if I told you the future of 911 doesn't just rely on faster networks or shinier headsets, but on a map? Not the folded kind in your glove box, but a living, breathing, digital brain that knows exactly where you are, who should answer your call, and how to get the right help now. Today, we're diving into GIS and why it's the unsung hero of next generation 911. And that's coming up next right here on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NINA certified ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week, I bring you the latest, most informative, and sometimes controversial takes on emergency communications. Today we're going to be digging into GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and why the maps behind NG911 aren't just a bunch of fancy graphics, they're literally the backbone of the entire system. GIS in plain English. Let's start simple. GIS is basically digital maps with brains. It's not just streets, it's layers of information. Things like boundaries, hydrants, apartment complexes, trails, and even county lines that you may cross on the way to Costco. In Next Generation 911, this isn't decoration. It's the data that decides who answers your call, who responds to the scene, and details about that scene when they get there. From legacy to Next Generation 911. Legacy 911 used clunky databases tied to phone company switches. Now that worked just fine when everyone had landlines, but today people are mobile and nomadic. Cellular signals bounce to the wrong towers, and suddenly you're talking to the wrong county about a fire in your neighbor's backyard. Next Generation 911 fixes that by routing calls based on GIS and the device's actual location. Think of it as Waze for emergencies, but without the annoying pop-up ads. Why GIS matters now. Well, first is call routing. The ECC that answers your call is based on GIS boundaries and not some random telco database. Next is the actual jurisdiction clarity. No more transfers because of bounced cellular signals. And that leads to faster response. Less time rerouting is more time sending help with the relevant data. The gotchas. Here's where it gets fun. If your GIS is out of date, Next Generation 911 is going to expose it. That subdivision built last year, that road renaming. If it's not in your GIS, your system might not find it. Imagine telling a caller, sorry, your house doesn't exist in our database yet. A little awkward. Some real world wins. A lost hiker calls 911. GIS layers pinpoint the trailheads and help responders pick the right path. A wrong-way driver. GIS ensures the call hits the correct county, even across state lines. In an apartment fire, GIS with floor and room data tells responders 3rd floor, Unit 5B, northeast corner. That's life-saving detail. Beyond just routing. GIS isn't only about who answers. It's also about showing responders hydrant locations, mapping AEDs in a public building, and overlaying IoT sensor data like smoke alarms, air quality monitors, and flood gauges. In short, it's situational awareness with a map on steroids. And no weird folding required. Why agencies need to care today. Cleaning up GIS takes time. You have your own geographic puzzle piece, and your boundaries have to be consistent with neighboring agencies. Data's got to be maintained, not just built once. So the sooner agencies start investing, the sooner they'll be ready to plug into NG911. Waiting until go live means playing catch up, and nobody wants that when lives are on the line. The snarky truth. In NG911, GIS isn't the optional side salad. It's the main course steak. No GIS, no NG911, period. Don't forget to miss Nina's Critical Issues Forum on January 15th and 16th. That'll be immediately following the Nina Standards and Best Practices Conference, January 11th through the 14th in New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to nina.org/CIF and be sure to register today. Well, that wraps up this episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety. I hope you like what you heard or read today and that you learned something new. If you did, remember to drop a like and share it with your friends. And I'd love it if you left a comment with your thoughts below. Be sure to check out all my blogs on Fletch.tv and my full library of TiPS, Today in Public Safety podcasts, available at 911tips.com. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. sharp. Thanks so much for listening. If you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every day. Stay safe and take care.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the weekend countdown on Hits 1. Or don't. Regret it for the rest of your life.